Could CNN be any more incompetent? Is there anyone working at this network that knows what they're doing? How many bad decisions can you make? Hell, when is the last time that CNN has actually done something right? Most people would probably say the firing of Don Lemon, but whether that decision was right or not, it really depends on how you look at it. Sure, Donnie was an insufferable wannabe diva. There was no juice left in his sour lemons after years of having them squeezed by his former bestie, Chris Cuomo. Hey, it's me, Chrissy C. But Donnie, he provided CNN with something that no other untalented doofus that is currently working at the network can provide. Donnie gave CNN mainstream attention, consistent mainstream attention. Now, that didn't translate into ratings, but at least he kept CNN in the headlines. They moved Caitlin Collins, Katie Roo! They moved Ruru to prime time after months of huge embarrassing failure on morning television. Every afternoon, they continue to put Wolf Blitzer, They continue to put Wolf Blitzer on television when he should be at home catching his afternoon nap. For 2 or 3 years now, it has been one bad decision after another at CNN. And last night was a prime example of the outright incompetence at the network. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at Casey_BTL84. Over the last few months, and especially over the last 24 hours, one of the biggest stories in media has been this, I guess, saga, for lack of a better term, between Cassie and Sean Combs. Well, Casey, who in the hell is Sean Combs? Yeah, you might not recognize him by his government name. It's a name that he has rarely used in the last 30 or so years, but you probably would recognize him based off of one of his thousands of aliases. Aliases like Sean John, not to be confused with the king of incompetence, John Biden. You probably recognize him as Puff Daddy, Puff, Puffy, Diddy, P. Diddy, Diddle, Doodle, Dipper, and his personal favorite, Love. I'm not making that up. There was a short period of his career where Diddy wanted to be called Love. Cassie Ventura, she had some moderate success in the mid-2000s. I think it was around 2006 when she had her breakout hit Me and You. She was in a relationship with Sean Combs for about a decade, from the late 2000s to around 2018. Well, Casey, which Sean Combs was she dating? Was it Diddy? Was it Dipper? Who in the hell knows? I mean, in the span of 10 years, I'm sure Cassie was involved with all of his aliases. But all kidding aside, video footage was released yesterday showing Sean Combs assaulting Cassie Ventura in a hotel sometime around 2016. The footage was absolutely egregious. It's disturbing. If you want to see it for yourself, it's easy to find on the internet. I believe the statute of limitations has expired when it comes to filing criminal charges, but in terms of public opinion, this dude's career, it's over. There is no coming back from this. One of the main reasons there's no coming back from this, besides the obvious reason that a man should never hit a woman, but one of the main reasons that Puffer won't come back from this is because he strongly denied these accusations back in December. He was trying to portray Cassie as some type of extortionist, claiming that she was making up these accusations against him for an easy payday. To make matters worse, once the footage was released yesterday, Diddle, he uploaded this fake apology where he's pretending to take accountability. He's pretending to be apologetic. I'm sorry, I was in a dark place, but everything is fine. I got help. I called social worker Shanice, and she informed me that my anger stems from my childhood. My father was a drug dealer. Now, obviously, I made most of that shit up, but you get the point. Whoever Diddy hired to be on his PR team, he should fire them immediately. That apology was trash. It was inauthentic. If that's the best you can do, he would have been better off exercising his right to remain silent. But that's a very brief synopsis of what's happened between Cassie Ventura and Sean Combs in the last few months, and mainly in the last 24 hours. This story is all over the media, and with CNN being the first media outlet to obtain the video footage, the saga between Cassie and Shawnee, it's been one of the leading stories at the network. With major stories like this, media outlets, they like to find people close to the situation or people in the inner circle and bring them on TV for interviews. During the O.J. Simpson trial in the mid-90s, Faye Resnick was absolutely everywhere. You guys remember Faye Resnick? She was a friend of Nicole Brown, or as she would describe it, we were besties. She wrote that salacious book that was released, I think at the beginning of the trial or maybe before the trial even started. Faye Resnick, she capitalized on her 15 minutes of fame. Or with the case of trial of O.J. Simpson, it was more like 15 months of fame, but either way, Faye Resnick, she capitalized on it. With major stories like this, networks like CNN, they search for people close to the situation. Or they'll bring on these experts, people familiar with domestic issues, relational issues. For example, social worker Shanice. Experts like social worker Shanice will appear on CNN and speculate into Shawnee's mindset during the incident. The point is, networks like CNN, they will bring people on that are somehow affiliated with the situation, which is why I was incredibly confused last night when Abby Phillip had Cameron on her show that is so irrelevant, I don't even know the name of the show. Well, Casey, who in the hell is Cameron? The better question is, who in the hell is Abby Phillip? I know who Cameron is. I was never a big fan of his music. I was never into East Coast rap, New York rap mainly. I always preferred Southern rappers, but Cameron, he had some big hits in the early to mid 2000s. For a while, his group Dipset, they were all over the place. Can't say the same about Abby Phillip. The only success that she has achieved is her upcoming nomination for the second annual Huge Embarrassing Failure Awards. Last night, Abby Phillip invited Cameron on her Unknown show to talk about the incident with Sean Combs and Cassie. Good news is, very, very few people saw this embarrassing interview because no one watches this show. Her ratings are so bad, she ranks outside of the top 10 at CNN. She can't get into the top 10 at a network that can't draw flies to a fresh turd. Abby Phillip, she can take solace in the fact that very few people saw this interview live. Bad news is, this interview highlights the sheer incompetence prevalent throughout CNN. Why in the hell would you invite Cameron on the show to talk about Puffer? He has absolutely no affiliation with him. The only association he has with Puffer is they are both rappers who happen to be from New York City. He was never signed to Bad Boy Records. They never ran in the same circles. Hell, to my knowledge, they've never even worked together. They've never collaborated. If this incident involves someone like Jay-Z, I could understand talking to Cameron. At least he was signed to his record label 20 or so years ago. But Cameron has minimal to no association with Sean Combs. Clearly, either Abby Phillip or her producers failed to do their homework. Clearly, they know nothing about the rap industry. The reason you don't invite people on your show to talk about something where they have minimal knowledge is because something like this can happen. Watch for yourself.
Did you recognize that kind of anger at all from your experiences?
I don't like that. What do you mean, do I be recognized? Did I recognize them? I seen them. What do you mean my experiences? I seen them and I thought it was disgusting. I didn't do a zoom in to see if it was really him or nothing, but he admitted it was him, so yeah, it was him.
What did you think about the apology that he gave in that other video?
The apology ain't for me to decide, it's for Cassie. What I think about it don't matter. He ain't do nothing to me.
What about the industry in general? I mean, so many people have pointed out that Diddy couldn't get away with this stuff if there weren't a lot of people protecting him. Do you think that's the case?
Who the talent agent for this joint? Like, you think I'll be sitting around watching what Diddy do and all this? I didn't know this was a Diddy joint that y'all invited me to. Who booked me for this joint?
All right.
Wow, and I'll be sitting around watching Diddy and all that.
Look, obviously Cameron was unprofessional here. Could he have handled this interview better? Obviously, yes, but Most of the blame for this embarrassing moment, it falls on CNN, because all you had to do was your homework. All CNN had to do was their due diligence. A dude like Cameron, he is never going to go on live national television and snitch on someone. How do I know this? Well, because he pretty much said that during an interview. Who conducted that interview? Anderson Cooper. 10 or 15 years ago, Andy Cooper, he interviewed Cameron on a segment that he was working on for 60 Minutes. The segment, it was about the Stop Snitching movement. This interview was conducted by someone working at your network. All Abby Phillip had to do was walk down the hall, ask Andy if he thought it was a good idea to bring Cameron on her show to talk about the puffer and potentially expose the music industry. Again, this highlights the sheer incompetence at this network. I actually felt bad for Abby Phillip. I doubt she was responsible for booking this interview, but it just further shows CNN has absolutely no idea what they're doing. Let me tell you how bad ratings have gotten at this dump. Every Saturday, CNN shows a rerun of Real Time with Bill Maher. The show originally airs Friday nights on HBO, meaning every time Bill Maher's on CNN, it's a rerun. The show's 24 hours old. Vast majority of people, they've already watched it. Last week, Bill Maher, he was the second most watched show at CNN. With only 611,000 viewers, Bill Maher, he ranked second place at the network. The only show that beat Bill Maher was something called Special Coverage. Now, I'm not sure what the hell that is, but if I had to guess, Special Coverage, it was dedicated to covering the trial of Donald Trump. Orange Man Bad! That show drew 856,000 viewers. Now, as you guys know, the Trumper, he's the only star capable of pulling that type of number at CNN. Jake the Bongo Tapper, 560,000. The unintimidating Wolf, he failed to entertain 541,000 Cocker Spaniels. Katie Rue Collins, 451,000. I mean, it's just a disaster. I don't know how else to describe it. CNN is a disaster. We are in the middle of an election year. Trump is on trial in New York City. And somehow, CNN, they have managed to turn their ratings from almost nothing to nothing. But anyway, give me your thoughts on this. Abby Phillip brings on Cameron to discuss the situation with the puffer. Again, Cameron, no affiliation with Sean Combs. To my knowledge, they have never collaborated. They've never even worked together. They've probably run into each other, but that's like interviewing me about Howard Stern because we had a 5-minute phone conversation over 10 years ago. Doesn't make any sense. And I think it further proves the incompetence at CNN. What about you? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter, and I'll see you guys later.